Hi, I'm Dan McLellan, the Chargers Rapid Reporter for CBSSports.com, and this is the Chargers Rapid Report Recap Show, where every single week I take a look at 3 of the Rapid Reports, break them down, and give you a little bit more information going into each week's game. This is week 11 of the NFL season, and the San Diego Chargers have now lost 4 in a row. They sit at 4-5, and they're traveling to take on the Chicago Bears, who have won 4 in a row and are at 6-3. Here's a look at the first report.
The Chargers are almost certain to go into Sunday's game down 3 of their original 5 offensive line starters. The likely offensive line starters versus the Bears will be Brandon Dabrowski at left tackle, Scott Murkowski at left guard, Nick Hardwick, an original starter, at center, Tony Mall, signed on Wednesday, at right guard, and Jeremy Clary, original starter, at right tackle.
Last week, the Chargers offense only attempted 14 rushing plays. They can ill afford to do that this week against Chicago if they expect to win. And really the large reason why is because they are traveling to Chicago down 4 offensive linemen who all have started this season, 2 of which are Pro Bowlers. This means that the Chicago's defense will likely just pin their ears back and do their best to come after Phillip Rivers. The one way they can counteract that, I bet, is to get the running game going in Ryan Matthews and Mike Tolbert, who are both healthy and both have practiced all week long. Matthews and Tolbert need to touch the ball a lot against Chicago, and that may be on the ground or it may be through the passing game. You may see a lot of screens, but one way or the other, these 2 players have to touch the ball if the Chargers are going to win.
Bears running back Matt Forte, who will face the Chargers on Sunday, is 3rd in the league in rushing and has averaged 5.2 yards per carry this season. Forte also has 439 receiving yards and is 2nd in the league in total yards from scrimmage. Last week, Raiders running back Michael Bush exposed the Chargers' vulnerability against running backs, rushing for 157 yards and racking up an additional 85 yards through the air for a combined total of 242 yards from scrimmage.
Last week, the Chargers gave up 157 yards on the ground to backup running back Michael Bush. And this week, the challenge gets a lot harder because they're facing Matt Forte, who is 3rd in the league in rushing with 869 yards and 2nd in the league in total combined yards with 1,308 yards. The Chargers defense must stiffen and do a better job against the run and find a way to contain Forte both on the ground and through the air. They need to limit Forte to about 100 combined total yards. If they can do that, they'll have a realistic chance of winning this game. What they can't have happen is Forte just run up and down the field like Michael Bush did last week. If they do that, then in all likelihood, the Chicago Bears are going to run up the score against the Chargers, much in the same way they did against the Lions last week.
Quarterback Phillip Rivers fumbled the ball when he was sacked on the final play of Thursday night's game. It was recovered by Raiders defensive end Lamar Houston for Rivers' 4th lost fumble on the season. Rivers now leads the league in interceptions and total turnovers. Rivers has turned the ball over at least twice in each of the Chargers' 5 losses this season.
Phillip Rivers protecting the football is still the number 1 issue for the Chargers to turn things around. In all 5 of their losses, and now 4 games in a row, Phillip Rivers has turned the ball over at least 2 times. However, last week, he actually did a much better job of protecting the football against the Raiders than he has done. His 2 turnovers were practically forgivable. One was a late interception in the 4th quarter on a deep pass into the end zone where basically Vincent Jackson didn't see the ball, at least that's what he says, and didn't make a play on the ball. Can't really blame Phillip Rivers for that interception. He also turned the ball over on a fumble in the final play of the game as he was backing up to pass and got under great duress trying to make some miracle play at the end of the game. Once again, another turnover that you really can't blame Rivers on. But he needs to be able to continue what he did last week, and that is throw the ball out of bounds or throw it away when he's under duress. Because as we've talked about in terms of the offensive line issues this week, in all likelihood, Rivers is going to be under duress. The Chicago Bears are phenomenal at getting turnovers, and if they get turnovers against the Chargers, they're all likelihood are going to put the Chargers into a deep hole with Matt Forte as their running back, and the Chargers are going to be playing catch-up all day long. If they're playing catch-up, they're likely going to lose. While I only go into 3 Rapid Reports, there's still a lot of other concerns for the Chargers going into this week's game. They're going to have to find a way to contain Devin Hester, who extended his NFL record to 12 punt returns for a touchdown last week against the Lions. And we know how poorly the Chargers special teams performed a year ago. They performed better this year, but there still are concerns there, and they're going to have to be able to contain Hester. They're also going to have to contain defensive end Julius Peppers, who has 6 sacks. Peppers is now moving up and down the line, trying to get matchups that are suitable for him. And with the Chargers' depleted offensive lines, Peppers is likely going to factor into this game. The reality is the Chargers have a lot of obstacles going into Chicago. This is not a game where I'm picking them to win. I'm picking the Chargers' losing streak to continue and really put their season on the brink of being over with. However, I wouldn't be shocked if the Chargers find a way to pull out a win. It's possible. It's just going to be very difficult this week. Once again, I'm Dan McLellan, your Chargers Rapid reporter for CBSSports.com. Please visit CBS Sports every single day for your latest Chargers information. Also, you can follow me on Twitter. My handle is San Diego Sports. Until next week.